My fellow Americans, this July 4th weekend, ask not what you can do for your country, but what you can wear for it. Old Navy's got what this country needs to look great, from tea to shining tea.
Run to Old Navy right now for up to 60% off the entire store. Plus, shorts are just $10 for adults, $8 for kids. And tees are just $5 for adults, $4 for kids. Hurry in. Valid 6/24 to 6/29. Select styles only. Excludes gift cards and clearance.
Blog Talk Radio.
It's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to over 10 million listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. This week we have an amazing show. From Kingman, Arizona, we've got Briana Payne, and all the way over from England, we've got Boardwalk Isabella, and from the great state of Florida, Franc. A fantastic lineup of guests. We've got our engineer extraordinaire, Nick the Geek, with us, our entire crew here at the Asylum. Me, I am John Bon Jovial. And now here is the voice of indie music, the one, the only, the David Bowers.
Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. Thank you, voice of John Bon Jovial. Thank you, listeners.
Oh, you're welcome.
So glad to have you all here with us again today. We've got another fun show. We've got some great music and some really great people, including return of our friends from merry old England, the Boardwalk Isabella crew, who were with us, I think it was, a little over a year ago we had them with us. They're back to tell us some new stuff. We got some interesting stuff coming up. And I do want to remind you, listeners, that this is the show where every show is an award show, because what the heck, there's so many out there now. Why waste time? We'll just make every show an award show, and you, the listeners, along with our guests, get to pick who gets the awards. There's no nominating committee, no screwy politics, no nothing. You just think somebody's done something incredibly great or somebody's done something incredibly stupid, and just tell us who they are and why you think they should get an award, and we'll be happy to either salute them or pan them and show them off for what idiots they are, because, hey, listen, the world is full of them, right? So remember, you've got somebody you think deserves an award, just email David at thedavidbowers.com, put awards in the subject line, and tell us who it is and why you think they deserve an award. If we select yours, it'll be used on the air, and we might even mention your name, so that you can impress all your friends and relatives with having heard your name spread around the world. I promise we won't give away your email, though, because you don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. So keep it in mind. The David Bowers Awards.
Are you saying that our crowd is a nefarious crowd?
No, but I'm saying some of them are. I'd never throw everybody lump sum into one category. Do want to take a second to shout out to.
Go ahead.
You were saying,
Dave. I don't want to. I was just going to say, as far as award shows go, we may not have the reach of the Academy Awards. We may not have the reach of the Tonys, but we are every bit as fabulous.
Oh, absolutely, no. Thank you for interrupting while I was talking there, but let me go ahead and give a shout-out to some new friends. We're going to shout out to some new friends that we have from Sydney, Australia. I was just talking with them earlier this morning, the Purple Cream Band. It's a new original band. They're rocking Australia. As a matter of fact, they were number one for an extended period of time in Sydney. They're dropping some new music, and they did us a favor by dropping a new music video on our Facebook groups page. If you go there, you can pick up, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 of their tunes has been added onto our groups page this morning. Want to thank you guys That's the Purple Cream Band from Australia. They are on Facebook. You can go there, go to our groups page, and the David Bowers Awards, I think they call it music, so it's in the groups, and you can listen to some of their music too. The Purple Cream Band from Sydney, Australia. Thanks, guys. We got to get you on the show as soon as we can. We really love to have you come over and talk with us, mainly because John gets off on that Australian accent, mate. Me, I kind of like the what is it they drink over there? Foster's. That's how we say good beer.
I love Foster's.
Hey, sure. When we have the guys on the show, maybe we'll have them send us a case of the stuff so that we can get in the mood, right? Okay, our first, the David Bowers Award of the day goes out to a wonderful man, a tremendous talent. He is a legend in the industry. He's a legend in music around the world. Talent manager Jim Halsey and his late son Sherman, who was a country music producer, director in his own right. And we are saluting them because they will receive American Eagle Awards from the National Music Council in association with NAMM. Presenting to Sherman will be longtime friend and former president of BMI Records, Del Bryant, and presenting to Jim will be his dear friends and clients and our dear friends as well who've been on the show several times, the Oak Ridge Boys. And though the National Music Council will continue its 75th anniversary celebrations by bringing its annual American Eagle Awards presentation to Nashville for the very first time next month, July 11th. So you want to be watching for that. Along with Jim and his son Sherman, they will also be honoring other music legends, Chris Christopherson, Charlie Pride, and Jim Lauderdale. A special award will be presented to the Nashville Mayor's Office, Metro Nashville Public Schools, and the Country Music Association and CMA Foundation for creation and support of the Music Makes Us Arts Education Initiative. Congratulations to all. Special congratulations to our friend and a former guest on the show, Jim Halsey, and his late son, Sherman. What great people and what tremendous gifts they have given, not just to music, but to people who listen to music and to our heritage. We thank you and salute you. Today we've got some great guests, and our Indie Artist Contest we'll mention a little bit later, so if you are an indie artist or you know one that deserves a break, keep a pen and paper handy. We'll give you a link to write down for that. A lot of people, a lot of music, so let's get right to it. Remember, if you got someone or something you think deserves an award, drop us an email, david@thedavidbowers.com. Be sure to log into our Blog Talk Radio chat room right now, where you can exchange with others in the chat room and also leave us messages. You can call in and talk with us or our guests at 347-945-7137. Don't forget, tweet your comments at hashtag TDBA, as in the David Bowers Awards. John Bon Jovial, back to you.
Yes, sir. We just again want to remind you folks, please give us a call. The David Bowers Awards show is on the air right now, and you can call us at area code 347-945-7137. You can also log into our chat room on Blog Talk Radio and talk with our guests and ask your own questions. Coming up on the David Bowers Awards, Kingman, Arizona is Briana Payne, and from England we've got Boardwalk Isabella, and from Florida, the one and the only Franc Robert. But first, we've got some music from Montgomery, Alabama.
That's right, John, and these guys, I think, are going to change the name to Rockgomery from their new album just released Friday and appropriately called Start the Show. Here is One Like Sun and a tune called Interstellar.
Traveling over right
have it. That's Interstellar by the group One Like Sun from Montgomery, Alabama, from their new album, Start the Show, which is just exactly what we've asked them to do here today. And here on the phone now from One Like Sun, Stephen, are you with us?
I'm with you. How are you doing, David?
Doing just fine, thanks. How are things in Alabama today?
They're great. They're actually sunny out here yesterday, which is raining. So we're happy for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, you got to have a little bit of both. As long as you don't get too much of one and not enough of the other, everything's really cool. And speaking of cool, you guys are doing some really, really cool stuff that I want to touch on while we've got you on the phone with us today. Now, this is your new CD, which was just released Friday. And unlike some other artists, you have an unusual, if not unique, release program that you've scoped out for this year. Tell us how you're releasing these CDs.
Well, yeah. I'm correcting on one thing. Actually, the song that you just played was actually from our album New American Gothic that came out in January. Start the Show was from a couple of years ago. But yes, to your point, we last year took part in a program where basically we wrote and recorded a brand new song every week for 52 weeks. Originally, it started out to be just it was just going to be a songwriting project, and we would basically do just like an acoustic and a vocal. And hopefully by the end of the year, we would have, out of those 52 songs, we would have at least 12 good ones that we would then put together and go to the studio and do a real record with those 12 songs. But at the beginning of the year, we ended up, actually the very first song, ended up doing a fully produced and fully, with bass, drums, guitar, everything. And it sort of raised the bar. So for every week of last year, we actually did a fully produced song. So this year, instead of recording those songs, now what we're doing is we're packaging those songs together and cleaning them up, remastering them, and releasing 4 records this year. The first of which was New American Gothic. And then next month on July 14th, we're going to be releasing our the newest from that series. It will be called Classic.
Right, that's the one that's coming out. And if I haven't got them confused, and I apologize for confusing the order there at the beginning, if I'm correct, the song we're going to play next is going to be from that Classic CD that's coming out in July. That's correct. Okay, good. I'm glad we got that right. And that is a really interesting way to present your music. I've noticed that there have been a lot of major changes in the way music is released now. There are some artists that are releasing a new track every month instead of releasing one album this year and waiting another year or two for their next CD to come out. And, of course, anybody that follows the trades at all and stays up on new releases knows that music release day is going to become Friday next month. So the bulk of new releases from the major artists, at least major artists and major labels, will be released on Fridays. And, of course, there's been a lot of controversy about whether that's a good idea or not. And I guess we're going to find out how that works starting next month. But, yeah, it's interesting to the way you did that, the concept you started with doing a new song every week, and then how it evolved into a full-fledged production. What else? Now, we've got the track coming up, It Knocks Me Out, which we'll play at the end of our little discussion here. Tell us about this It Knocks Me Out and the songs on the new CD that'll be coming out July 14th.
Well, what we've done, typically our styles have been, sort of a pop rock or a power pop, and in the vein of sort of like Cheap Trick or Big Star or the Wallflowers, or so. And in that, we have a range of things that sometimes they sound more rock oriented, sometimes they're more pop punk oriented. So what we've basically done is broken all those up. New American Gothic was sort of the more power pop and punk sort of sound. We've taken and compiled the more, what I would more considered sort of the classic rock or rock sound for classic. So that's the one that's kind of the sound of the new record that's coming up. After that, there's another one that's going to be more country-oriented, not full-fledged country.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of country by way of like Social Distortion, but
okay.
But yeah, that'll follow this. But yeah, this particular record and the song that you're about to hear is more just rock-oriented.
Well, hey, listen, if Steven Tyler can go country, anybody can. I don't know if you heard his new country release yet?
No, I have not yet.
It's interesting. He could almost convince you that he's serious about doing country. I understand the rest of the band isn't really excited about it, but he's gotten some support in the country music circles, which kind of surprised me. I didn't expect him to be quite that readily accepted, but interesting. Also want to talk to you about something on the technical aspect in a moment, but first, tell us about the rest of the guys in the band, because so often we get people on here, we get involved in talking about the music and all kinds of things, and I don't want to overlook the fact that, hey, you may be the spokesperson, you may be the front man and everything, but there are some other guys that put a little effort into the finished product too. So tell us about the guys in the band.
Absolutely. We're not the typical getting out and tour band. We're actually sort of scattered around the country. So technically, we've been putting this record together from bedrooms and studios from here to L.A. Our bass player, the consistent bass player who's played on pretty much every track on this project was a guy named Clinton Kirby. He was a member of a band called Buffalo Nickel, and then back in the day, Hand Truck and Flat Stanley. So we've been good friends for more than 20 years now. He participated with me on the project heavily. Was Ryan Fennell, let me get his name right. He played drums on pretty much most of the record. And he's from Montgomery, Alabama. He's helped me out a great deal. And then the other, pretty consistent member was Brian Seagraves, who played a lot of the piano and keyboard tracks over the course of the project. Past that, we've had a few other people. A guy named Perry Brown, Denny Burks played drums. So we've had a few people, but consistently it's been Ryan Fennell and Clint Kirby and Brian Seagraves.
Fantastic. Now, I do want to bring this out while we're talking, and you almost touched on it because you were talking about how you guys are in different parts of the country and how you have to connect electronically, and I know that is an interesting part of your past. It seems, if I'm not mistaken, Apple technology has played a part in your recording process.
Yes. Now, this record was mostly done on computers, but we used Dropbox a lot for that, where we would record the tracks and then we would Dropbox the files back and forth to each other.
Right.
But our past record, Start the Show, which came out in 2012, I believe. We did that entirely on the iPhone. So we used sometimes the mics on the iPhone. Sometimes we had interfaces that we attached to our phones so we could plug microphones and things like that. And then we would share our files over Dropbox. So yes, in the same fashion, I had several friends that we worked together like that over again, from bedrooms and studios across the U.S., where we would trade back and forth, and we would record and stuff like multi-track DAW, GarageBand, things like that, apps that we could use strictly on the iPhone. So that was quite a challenge, and I think we got a lot of good praise for that record and the sound of the record, considering the way that it was recorded. So we're very happy with that.
Well, I remember we spoke on another show that I used to co-host before I got my own show here, and we had discussed that, and I was really impressed then. I still am when you stop to think about it. Oversimplification, but say, hey, we just recorded a professional release on an iPhone, and it's just amazing to think of how the technology has evolved. I know our grandkids, when they look back, they'll say, that was nothing. You ought to see what we're doing now. But today,
right.
and especially at the time when you did it, that was beyond challenging. That was almost unheard of. What gave you the idea to do that?
Well, I do a project every year that I try to challenge myself to do something creative, and sometimes I'm also a photographer and a filmmaker, and so sometimes those projects are, either I'm going to make a movie or I'm going to do a photo project, and then it also bleeds into my music projects, or sometimes it's a music project that I'm going to do, which has been for the past 3 or 4 years. So essentially, whenever I did start the show, I had recorded a quick little 4-track demo. There was like an app that had 4 tracks on it, and you could just record through the microphone on there. And I just basically did it in like an acoustic and vocals on there, and it turned out really good. And I just got the idea. I thought, well, if I did this, what else could I do with it? And again, kind of like the project that I did last year, it was one of those things where I started out really trying to do something very simple. And the more I got into it, the more I was challenged to go, well, what if I pushed this? What if I did this a little further? What if I tried to record drums? What if I tried to record, more than 4 tracks? What if I did, layers of this? And the more I tried to do that, there were other companies who were kind of watching the process, and, they would send me apps, or they would send me pieces of hardware, to attach to my phone and things like that. And they were like, hey, why don't you try this out? This may help you with your project. So, and at the time, you're right. Since then, since I did the project, there have been several advances in the operating system of the iPhone, and as well as a few apps that have been invented that lets you share sound between one app and another, that weren't available at the time that I did it. So, I would say that it would be easier to do what I did if I did it today. But, obviously that's still a challenge trying to record on, a little device like that. But it would have definitely been a lot easier today. So we're pretty proud of what we accomplished with so little, back in 2012.
I think you have every right to be proud of that, and I think you may just possibly have earned yourself a place in the Music Hall of Fame. I don't know if you were the first to ever do that, but I know you were the first group that I ever heard of that did that, and I still have not heard of anyone that predates you with that. So you may have just earned yourself a place in history there. Steve, it's been wonderful having you here with us. We're going to run this down for the listeners now. It's called It Knocks Me Out, and that is going to be available on your next CD, which drops July 14th, if I have that correct.
That's correct.
And that's called Classic. Stephen, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing. It looks like we have a good reason to have you come back, well, within a year or so, when you have your next idea percolating, and bring it back, and we'll be happy to share it with our listeners around the world. Thank you again, Steve.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure as always. And here, ladies and gentlemen, they are. It's called It Knocks Me Out. This is One Like Sun.
Thank you.
knock you out. That's what it's called. It Knocks Me Out. The group One Like Sun, who may well go down in history as the first rock band to ever record a commercial release on an iPhone. It's an incredibly interesting story, and we'll definitely be having them back. Maybe we'll get them back when they do their country. That would be interesting. See if they can pull it off like Steven Tyler did. But thank you, guys. Thank you, One Like Sun. Ladies and gentlemen out there, you hear these acts on here. Like them, go check them out on their social media pages. I regret we didn't get into that with One Like Sun, but I know they are on the social media. Name is just like it sounds, One Like Sun, like they're your son. So check these acts out on their social media. Tell them how much you enjoy them. Listen to their music. Many of them are either on Reverb Nation or SoundCloud or post their music on Facebook. You can find them all over if you go look for them. And above all else, buy their music. These guys are out there making music for you. Pay them back. Buy their music. They'll love you for it, and we'll love you too. So right now, I want to remind you, you can call in if you've got a question or something you'd like to ask us or our guests. Our technical engineer, Nick, is standing by to take your phone calls at 347-945-7137. Don't forget, if you have any comments, tweet them online at #TDBA. And if you'd like to be considered for a guest shot on the show, or you know an artist who should be, all you have to do is send your EPK to david@thedavidbowers.com along with a current bio. Put guest in the subject line. If you don't have an EPK, don't worry about it. Drop us a line, and we'll explain to you what you can do, and our panel will review your entry and select future guests from these entries. That's all there is to it. Here's your chance. You could be our next indie find. Don't forget, our Win a Free Mix by Stuart Epps contest is now open. It runs through the middle of October. It's open to all indie artists of any genre with original music. Simply send us your MP3 original demo, and Grammy-winning producer Stuart Epps himself will select the winner to receive a totally free mix by him. Now, here you go. Is your chance. You can have one of your songs mixed professionally by one of the greatest producers of rock music in the world today. You can find more details at the link on my website, thedavidbowers.com. Click the Win a Free Mix link. Enter today. Next up, our latest find, but right now we find our next The David Bowers Award. There have been murmurs of a major new award show. Just what we needed, another one, right? This one dedicated exclusively to unsigned artists, circulating around the industry grapevine for some weeks now. This has been gaining support from some of the industry's biggest names. The platform is the Unsigned Music Awards, which opens its doors to applicants for the first time through the launch of their new website. Just happened on the 12th, which was 2 days ago, right, Friday? The Unsigned Music Awards will offer a platform that's designed to recognize and reward the wealth of unsigned talent with the same prestige as the popular mainstream award show, culminating in a television award show to be held in London on February 17th. So here's a chance for all you unsigned indie artists to make even a bigger name for yourselves, and we heartily support this. We are joining the likes of Jack Daniels. I think I've had too many too much Jack today. Marshall Amps, Aunt Sofa, U.S. Royalty Collection Society, BMI, A Rising Artists, the Featured Artists Coalition, Music Managers Forum, and numerous others to celebrate you, the unsigned indie artists. Indie artists and unsigned artists are getting opportunities like never before. I mean, when was the last time you saw an indie artist win an award for being an indie artist? It just hasn't happened. Now, this is going to be broadcast on the largest student channel, Sub TV, which has 1.8 million viewers, as well as New Sky Channel. They're currently in talks with two of the largest online content streaming providers, and we are going to try to get someone from the, if they're calling themselves an academy or whatever, from the Unsigned Music Awards to come on the show and talk about it, explain what's going on, tell us all about it. We're hoping to have someone come on and do that in the next few months, so be watching for that. Follow the Unsigned Music Awards on Twitter at @the_UMAs. That's it, @the_UMAs. The Unsigned Music Awards. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that. Right now, we're going to hear a little more from John Bon Jovial. John, what you got for us?
Well, yes, sir. And, you speaking of Jack Daniels, this reminded me that we should probably make a note. One of the great country legends just passed away this past week. Jim Ed Brown, Papa Top fame. The guy just had one hell of a voice. He was a great, great country artist, an influence for so many others. Jim Ed Brown, I believe he was 85 years old, and he'll be missed. He was, a true icon of the country music world. Jim Ed Brown, dead at, I believe, the age of 85.
And they're having a public funeral for him at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville.
As well they should. If anybody is deserving of it, it was Jim Ed Brown. And he hooked up quite a bit with Helen Cornelius, didn't he?
Yes, he did. They had a string of hits back in the mid-'70s. I know they were. I
Don't Want to Have to Marry You and a couple of others, yeah.
Right. I remember I met them when they were doing that string back in the 70s when I was in Nashville for the DJ convention, 73, I think it was. That was when we worked together in Tampa.
Yeah, I remember working at WSUN in Tampa and meeting Jim Ed Brown, and it was a real privilege to meet the guy. Anyway, let's get back to business here. We've got to pay a couple of bills. We just want to remind you to reward yourself, or I should say award yourself, the official The David Bowers Awards T-shirts. These are the only official T-shirts of The David Bowers Awards, and they're available only on our website at The David Bowers. That's BOWERS, TheDavidBowers.com. We keep the price down by taking no profit on them. They are strictly for our fans and followers. They're high-quality tees in black or white, ladies or men's sizes. Order now, please. We'd really appreciate it if you would. And they're still just $14.30. Order now. And, David, what do we have up next?
Well, I'd like to say we got another round of Jack Daniels, but nobody stepped up to the bar to buy us one. And I guess we've given them enough free plugs. We've given them enough free plugs for today. So we will move right on because next we have a lovely young lady from Kingman, Arizona. I had the pleasure of discovering at a club on the Colorado River and decided, hey, this chick is good, and we want to get her on the show. She does a brand of country that is pure country. She also is not hesitant to rock out, and I was really impressed with these guys. Her band is tight, and they love what they're doing, and it shows. So we're going to bring her on right after we listen to one song by her. This is called Just Like That, Briana Payne.
Face feels and the way it moves.
just like that. Now it's gone, baby, what a tragedy. You should have seen how hard I felt. Then he took me on a ride to hell. Got on that train and away he went, and all my love was spent. 'Cause there ain't no love like the one you find in the bottom of a cowboy hat. Well, bend your strings with a country song, it don't get much better than that. The way he feels and the way he moves, better run, girl, watch your back. You go jump that devil train and be gone, just like that. For the train, but all I hear is a real lonesome sound. You don't know how much it hurts to watch him walk away. My soul said he'd come home, I'll be waiting here for that. 'Cause there ain't no love like the one you find in the bottom of a cowboy hat. So bend your strings with a country song, it don't get much better.
And that's just like that. Briana Payne, whom we seem to be having some difficulty getting her on, and which is really unfortunate. Anytime that happens, it always upsets me because we're slaves to modern technology, which, when it works, is a wonderful thing. And then there are other times when it's it's a little less than wonderful, right, John Bon Jovial?
Oh, yeah. You know, the whole thing about computers, Dave, is, they're touted as being a time-saving convenience and an appliance that makes our lives easier. But really, sometimes I'm absolutely convinced they're nothing more than an exercise in anger management.
or a good reason for an exercise in anger management. But, you have to consider that, in the big picture of things, we are still in the dark ages, the very infancy of computer technology. Because let's face it, while computers have been in existence in one form or another since the 50s or early 60s, they've only come into the public domain in a mass way since the 90s, really, and late 80s maybe. But there's a long way to go. There's going to be so many major developments over the next century that if you were to come back 100 years from now, you wouldn't recognize what's going on. Well, just look what's happened since we've been at it. They've gone from these big, monstrous things that took a whole building to house to, virtually you can wear them on your wrist now, like Dick Tracy
wear them on your hip. Yeah,
exactly.
And plus the fact that the newer technologies, they roll out so much faster in the larger urban areas. And, where we are, for example, in Naples, Florida, we're pretty much at the end of the pipe. And while we will get the more advanced telephone technologies and broadband technologies, the larger cities get them first. And I think the same is true with you out there in Bullhead City, Arizona, and also Kingman, which is only just a little bit bigger than Bullhead. And you're not getting the technologies as quickly as areas like Phoenix and Tucson or Las Vegas are getting them.
Oh, absolutely. The larger metros get that stuff. Well, just the rollout of the increase in phone service, like from the 3G to 4G. There are a lot of places. Most of the country doesn't have 4G service yet. Only it starts with the major metropolitan areas and trickles down from there. And it's we could do a whole show on the advent of computer technology, but unfortunately we wanted to give this time to Briana Payne, and I can tell you that she is a tremendous talent. She has got a super tight band, and they play all over the Southwest. She's from Kingman, Arizona. They play at clubs up and down the Colorado River. I know they played here in Laughlin, and they played downstream and Havasu, Lake Havasu City, technically, so that I don't offend any of our listeners there. And down at Parker, they make regular stops down there. They've also gone inland across northern Arizona, and I would imagine they're planning to expand their territory in the very near future. She's been singing all her life, so basically she grabbed the guitar and started a band with a group of guys she knows. And as I said, they love to play, and they love having a good time.
You got to see her at one of the clubs in Laughlin, didn't you?
Right. That's how I got her to come on the show. Was I got to see her at a club in Laughlin called the Old Town Saloon. I almost lost it there for a second, and my friends up there at Old Town would never forgive me for that. But yeah, the Old Town is it's not a casino club. This is a eat and dance, have drinks, type of club. They have a tremendous barbecue they have there on weekends, and some great food, some reasonable prices, humongous bar. They've got pool tables. They have all kinds of events there. As a matter of fact, the recent motorcycle rally day they had here, they were the host club for that, and they have live entertainment on weekends of different genres. They had Briana's Country. They've had rock bands in there. And they also have a DJ, I think, on Thursday nights. So they have a good mix of entertainment.
Tell us about the music that Briana does. Does she do mostly original material? Does she do covers? A little bit of both? The song you just heard was great, but what else is there to her?
She does. We're gonna play another track by her in a couple of minutes here, but she does a mix of original and cover, and she does a mix of genres. She'll do rock country, and she can get into some rock country, and you would never believe it's the same talented person you heard doing the song you just heard. She is very versatile as well as being talented, and I'll tell you, the thing that caught my attention is the way she interacts with her audience. Because this is something a lot of artists don't do or aren't comfortable doing, yet she can interact with the audience while she's up on stage. And actually, I even seen her get off stage. The only artist I've seen in a long time that actually got off stage in the middle of the song and kept the song going while it went out and danced with the audience on the dance floor. I was really impressed with that. She was out there dancing with the crowd in the middle of the song, which I thought was really neat. You see it on TV sometimes. You see the artists go out and they'll walk through the crowd and slap hands and stuff. But no, she actually interacts with the crowd, got out there and danced with them and everything. So she is I think you could say she's a natural entertainer. And
that's cool. That's great.
After they searched their place for a couple of years, they put together the band, and you can tell that they work very hard. They have a great sound, and they really care about entertaining the fans. You get the feeling that, hey, they're not up there just going through the motions. They really want to do a good job. And, I can tell you, because I have a cheat sheet here in front of me, not because my memory is that good, I can tell you the members of the band are Danny Big Country Owsley, who plays lead guitar and also sings backup. He's been with her since, he's been with her about 2 years now. And Ed Miller is the bassist for the band, and he also does backup vocals. He's been with Briana since she got into the shtick and got her own thing going. And, of course, he suffered through the rough times and helped her find the right musicians and get the band to where it is today. Then there's Augie Rocks, who is relatively new to the band. He just came on board a couple of months ago, or actually last month, I believe it was May, and he brought his skills, which he combines with a very positive attitude, I'm told, and I guess you could probably say that about all of them. Augie's the drummer for the band, by the way, and I guess you could say positive attitude about all of them because they're all really nice people to sit and talk with, and at the same time you can tell their heart and soul is into the music. They don't just get up there and go through the motions. Like I said, they're up there because they enjoy what they're doing. And we have found, John, you know this, and I know being in the business Nick does, we've heard this so many times, that the ones that last in this business aren't the ones that are in there trying to make the most money. They're the ones in there because they have the most love for the music. And
they have the love for they've got the love for the music, and they have the fortitude to put up with the industry.
Yes, that takes a little bit of doing in itself, because this is not the easiest industry in the world. Is Nick there with us? Nick, are you on board? There you are, Nick. Glad to have you back there taking care of the controls and everything. We were just talking, as I'm sure if you were listening you heard, talking about Briana and her band and the fact that they are really into what they do. They love the music. They love the audience, and that this is something that really makes the difference. It really tells the difference between an artist or a group that's going to make it in the business and one that probably isn't. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. That level of enthusiasm, it's essential not only to maintaining success in this business, but also just to keep your own sanity. I mean, how many of these artists, for lack of a better term, blow up instantly and then have amazing careers for 2 years and then you never hear from them again? It's really just a matter of being able to maintain the same kind of energy for your audience that you had in your bar and club days when you were playing for 3 people versus playing for 300,000 people. Being able to keep that up, the difference between a player and an artist, in my opinion.
Right, you've got to have. It's like a relationship. You've got to have the intensity for the relationship to see you through, to keep you going, to make you want to do it rather than have to do it. Because when it gets to the point where you have to do it, it becomes drudgery, and that's going to start screwing with your head after a while.
Certainly. I mean, look at a situation like the Rolling Stones with Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. They can barely stand to be on the same stage together, but they know that through their collaboration, they've got a good amount of magic there, and people love to see it. So they're willing to go through that, and not necessarily going through the motions, but they know that they can achieve something together that they can't necessarily achieve on their own. That's just that level of magic, and it definitely seems like the Briana Payne band has that same kind of magic.
Yeah, they do. Obviously they're not the Rolling Stones yet, but you can tell that the chemistry is there, the intensity is there, the desire to do it professionally and turn on the audience, and you see that with the electricity, because it's like electrical current. It's a two-way thing. The audience gets turned on to the music, the artist gets turned on to the audience, and they feed off of each other. And you see this with Briana Payne, and I'm really sorry that we weren't able to get the connection on. I'm not sure what happened, but we will definitely try to get Briana to come back again in the very near future and share with us more about her history, about the band and their music and where they're going. If you're out in the Southwest, in actually central to northern Arizona for the most part, if you head out to the clubs on the Colorado River, or you're in the Kingman area or something, look her up, Briana Payne, and the Briana Payne Band, and you won't be sorry. She puts on a good show. You'll have a great time. Tell her we said hello, and we are going to play another song by her right now. This one is called At Closing Time. Ladies and gentlemen, from Kingman, Arizona, the Briana Payne Band, At Closing Time.
Gotta learn how to deal. So I live my life one beer at a time, and I won't let anybody else make up my mind. And I'll drive my truck down every dirt road I can find. And when time's getting down, you can bet I'll stick around. About what you say, I'm gonna live my life my way. And when time's giving down, you can bet I'll stick around. You only get one chance at life, so you live and let live until you die. You can get on the train, or watch it just roll on by. From a mason jar, and I'll sit on my porch and sing to the stars. And when time's giving down, you can bet I'll stick around. You only get one chance at life, so you live and let live until you die. You get on the train, just roll on by. Time wasn't made for you to live in the past, and you don't want to spend your life being the last in line. At closing time.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Briana Payne. Again, my apologies for whatever the problem was that enabled us to get her on the show today, and we will definitely try to get her back on again in the very near future. In the meantime, check her out online. You can find her on Facebook, Reverb Nation, whatever. Briana Payne, her music is online. Drop her a line and tell her how you wish she'd been able to make the show. She'd love to hear from you, I know, from having talked to her. We're moving right along here, and John Bon Jovial, you've got something to tell us about computer hacking and stuff, do you not?
I do, and this is and that is this. Computer hacking, not a good thing. You don't want your computer broken into. You don't want your identity stolen. You certainly don't want to have your bank account anonymously drained. So you have to keep your computer safe. You have to keep it, you have to keep your computer safe and sound. And, there is a way to do that without really having to worry about it. And it really doesn't matter where in the country you are, because there are some people out there that can help you, and that is Computer Help USA. They're located in Naples, Florida. Now, just because Computer Help USA is in Naples doesn't mean that you can't do business with us. It's very easy. All you got to do is give us a call. We can access your computer remotely, effect any repair that is necessary, make sure that your security is up to snuff, and if it's not snuffed properly, we'll snuff it for you, or words to that effect. But seriously, if you're not careful, and if you don't maintain high-level passwords and security and remain constantly vigilant, you can get hacked. You can get screwed over royally, and it is something that you would sorely, sorely regret. There's so many people out there that actually use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a password, or use the word password as a password. And, these are the people that are going to be most susceptible to getting hacked on their computer. It's something that you really, really don't want to have to put up with. If you do get hacked, if you do get a virus on your computer and it gets locked up, never pay. It is a hoax. Whatever the problem is with your device, you can contact Computer Help USA. Again, located in Naples, Florida, but also all across the Internet. You can contact us by going to the web at comphelpusa.com, or you can email us at support@comphelpusa.com. You can also find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Computer Help USA. The phone number is 239-596-6112. Again, that's 239-596-6112. Give Computer Help USA a call today. They are there to help you whenever the need arises. Dave?
Well, thank you very much, John Bon Jovial. And next, all the way from merry old England, and we'll be talking with them just after we play this song, here is Boardwalk Isabella and a thing called Oh, the Ground Was Hard.
Well,
Ground was hard. Boardwalk Isabella, and on the phone line right now from merry old England is James from Boardwalk Isabella. James, are you with us?
I'm with you. How you doing?
Hey, hello there. Doing just fine. First, let me ask you, which do you prefer? Do you prefer to be called James, or would you prefer Jimmy?
Well, my really good friends call me Jimmy, so I guess you can call me James.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
You left the barn door wide open. I just drove the Harley through.
I did it, that. I left the barn door wide open, and you drove the whole herd through. Thank you very much. It's been nice talking to you. We'll look forward to having you back
I'll
again
see you another time.
Jimmy, seriously, thank you for coming on board with us and for sharing with us all the way from England. What part of England are you in now? I know it's not London proper.
No, I'm a London. I was born in London, but at the moment we live in the southwest of the UK in a place called Devon. It's a county in the south of the country.
Okay, about how
Do you
far?
know that
Not that well. I'd have to look at a map. I've heard the name, but about how far south of London would you say it is?
God, it's about 400 or 500 miles from London.
Okay. So it's not just a quick hop, skip, and a jump. You don't drive up to London in the evening for a glass of beer or anything, or cold ale or what? I don't know. Do you drink? I've heard all those stories. Do you guys really drink warm ale over there?
No, that's a myth.
Okay, good. Somehow I couldn't, the idea of warm beer or ale just doesn't appeal to me. I can't imagine. That just doesn't make any sense at all. But
I can also comment. I can comment on that, Dave, and that being a good red-blooded American, the thought of warm beer just makes me want to barf.
Well, I'm glad you were able to verbalize the thought there. But we're here to talk music. We're here to talk music, and James or Jimmy, Mr. Hughes, tell us about Boardwalk Isabella. I know you've been on before. We have a lot of new listeners. We picked up a couple of new networks over in Europe. We've got a network in Israel that's picking us up now. And tell us a little bit about the band.
Congratulations to you, first of all. The band is quite simply the grooviest rock and roll band in the world, bar none. We are an independent outfit from the UK. We have our WEP Clear the Decks, which is just out tomorrow and is available from our website at www.boardwalkisabella.com, and we are on Twitter and Facebook. You can find us online. Because we've got an unusual name, you can find us anywhere by just Googling Boardwalk Isabella. Yeah, and it's basically an outfit that's driven by my songs, and we seem to be making some progress in this crazy music world.
Well, that's the important thing, that you're making progress. Now, you explained this to us before, and we'll talk more about your new CD, which is coming out tomorrow, and we're going to preview a track off of in just a few minutes here. But the name, you mentioned the name of the band is a little bit unusual, Boardwalk Isabella, and I happen to know from having talked to you before that the story of how you came up with the name is rather unusual, too. Tell us where that name came from, how you came up with Boardwalk Isabella.
Indeed, that name came from the fact that I was back in the day with another band, and we pulled up outside this studio, and one of the road crew pointed to this beautiful sports car across the road and said, "Wow, that's my favourite car." And then he said the words which I thought were Boardwalk Isabella, and I thought that was the most incredible name for a sports car, and I held it in my mind for years and years that was the name of this wonderful German sports car. And when I was looking for a name for the musical project that's become Boardwalk Isabella, I stumbled across this classic car magazine, and the car that I thought was called Boardwalk Isabella was called something similar but different. And I realized that Boardwalk Isabella was a name that could be had across all the social media, and I could get the website name and the domain name and everything like that. So it was actually a Borg-Ward Isabella, a German sports car from the late 50s, early 60s. But through that mishearing, I was able to get this name. So that's how it came about.
Oh, fantastic. You were named after a car that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
love it. Well, the important thing is you guys exist, and you're doing some incredible rock and roll. We're glad to have you back here with us. John Bon Jovial, did you have a question there? I noticed that puzzled look on your face.
That's my usual. That's just the usual way I go around in life.
Well, you got to be careful, Jimmy. You'll open the barn door on you here.
Not a question per se, Jimmy, but just more of an observation. Is that last tune that we heard? It's just got such a good driving beat to it. I don't know how familiar. Have you been over to the United States much?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times to New York, which is a place I like very much. So that's the only place I've been so far.
You've never been to the Western deserts, then, and the song, and look it up. I don't know whether it's on Google Earth or whatever, but I'm listening to this song, and all I'm thinking about, is like a Mustang type muscle car convertible at 3:00 in the morning, hauling ass about 120 miles an hour across the desert with this thing blasting. I mean, that was my initial thought, and I don't know if that's what you had in mind, but I got to tell you, I just loved it. That's really, really good stuff.
Thank you very much.
But you'd have to be in a car that doesn't exist.
If you're driving a Boardwalk, Isabella, no, that's a rock and roll machine.
But it's to me, it's I've ever since I was got into radio years and years ago, I've always been into what I refer to as driving music. Can you drive to this music? Can you keep an up head? Can you just haul ass without the fear of any kind of being pulled over by the cops? And that's the kind of music that to me that this represented.
Well, that's powerful feedback, and I'm going to have that enshrined somewhere. That's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate it. Funnily enough, it came from quite a tragic. I mean, you probably mind the driving music side of it comes from my love of American music, and indeed, the American radio stations and American people in general have very much taken the band to their hearts. So that's a very encouraging thing. The song actually came from the fact that I was living in Nice in France at the time, and I was on the fourth floor. I had an apartment on the fourth floor of a building, and I had this very strange family above me on the fifth floor. And one day, when I was in my apartment, the guy on the fifth floor, he decided to dive out the window, and he just dived, and he came flying past me while I was looking out the window, and it was very strange. And so "Oh, the Ground Was Hard" was inspired because every good songwriter will tell you that, if you have an emotional impact, if you're impacted emotionally by an event, then a good way of releasing that is to actually write about it. So that's where that song came from, lyrically.
Oh, we lose John? I guess.
No,
I thought you were.
No. I'm sorry. I'll be honest with you. I got distracted with something for a second. I was looking at something on the control panel and trying to figure out what it was. And Jimmy,
you see
I
how
apologize
interesting I am?
for drifting away.
Fantastic. Really? I mean, that's great. Listen, I want to do
so good.
Yeah, you just scored some major points there, John Bon Jovial. Listen, Jimmy, I want to do one thing that I just mentioned to our last guest, or I mentioned about our last guest that I'd like to do, and that is, you're one person. You're the front. You may be the impetus, the organizer, and the structure of the band, but there's some other guys that help make it all come together. Tell us about the guys in the band.
The band is a very loose congregation at this point in time because I recorded most of the tracks on the album to play the bass and piano and the keyboards and did the singing and stuff like that. I was helped on this album by Nathan Porter on lead guitar, and we had two backing singers, two gospel backing vocalists as well who provided their services there. So we're not a band per se at this moment in time. I will be getting that together when we decide to go out live. But those are the two people who helped me record it. But most of the recording has been done by myself.
Kind of a bit of a one-man band there.
A bit of a one-man
band. You mentioned when you get ready to go out on the road. Any idea when you when that'll happen?
I think we have to think very carefully about that because it has to be. I want to give a very good show, and I want it to be economically viable it's going to be about a nine-piece band on stage. We did one show a couple months back for a radio station over here in the UK, a charity event for them, and there was 8 of us on stage that night, and it went over really fantastically well. But as I'm sure you can imagine yourself, to organise a tour independently, as I've done everything so far, without anybody's help, without any record company support or anything like that, it's an incredible undertaking to try and keep 8 people satisfied and paid and on the road for a significant amount of time that it would take for us to get our music across. So it has to be the right moment and it has to be the right offers. So at the moment I'm just releasing recent material and drumming up interest, which has been phenomenal so far. And at some point that will come where offers start to come in to take this live and to make it economically viable for all of us to do it.
Okay, well, now I do have a question for you then, Jimmy. You're touching on that, and I'm not going to say if, but when you go out on the road and when this tour is successful, and I'm saying when, not if,
Indeed.
when it's successful, would you then consider coming over to the States, and even if it's a scaled-down version of the 9-piece band, down to 3 or 4 guys, whatever, would you consider coming over to the States and touring over here? Because we'd love to have you.
Absolutely, and it wouldn't be beyond the bounds of possibility that we would come there first. We've had the incredibly strong reaction from America and Canada as well, but mostly in America for the music. And like you said yourself, it is very reminiscent of a strong American driving music, and like I say, the reaction has been incredible from radio stations, the length and breadth of America. So we feel that there could be an opportunity in the offing that we could come to the States, and I'd very much like to give that a very good go and do a lot of touring in the States to trying to bring the music to as many people as possible.
Well, we will graciously accept a backstage pass when you come to our part of the country.
There you go.
I'm
Absolutely.
sure you will.
We gratefully accept a sit down with you guys. We can sit down and talk with you, and maybe record a session, get you on the air, and talk about your tour and everything when you are over here. Something
that
we definitely want to look forward to. Yeah. And you mentioned catching that bit with John Bon Jovial when he got distracted there. I wanted to reminded me to remind our listeners.
Sorry about that, guys.
I will remind you also that our show is on podcast, and you will be able to take down and even record segments or the entire show if you want to. It'll be up on Blog Talk Radio probably within about 10-15 minutes after we get off the air live. Anyway, definitely within the hour. And we are also, and I hope I don't have a cue card in front of me, so I hope I don't overlook anybody here. Our podcasts are also carried on BFM, which all of these can be found on Facebook, and you can track them down on the internet easily. BFM is BEEFM. We are also on the 365 Radio Network. We're also on CMG Global Radio. And we are also on Renegade Femme Radio. And for you non-feminists, that's Renegade FEMME Femme Radio, Renegade Femme Radio. So you can find our podcasts on any of those. And I understand we are also being carried on Spreaker. So we do get around. We've got some places you can find us there. If you have any questions, you also know how to just drop us a line, david@thedavidbowers.com. It's simple to remember. I keep it that way so that I can remember it. And was that John Bon Jovial chuckling in the background there?
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm just thinking to myself that, not everybody can say it, but the David Bowers Awards is indeed a worldwide international phenomenon now. And we got a lot of listeners worldwide, and it's growing every single month. And that's something that both David and I, we're proud of it. We're thrilled about it. And part of what makes it a success is having guys like Boardwalk, Isabella on, and having such a good conversation.
Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, and I think I think about this and sitting here talking with Jimmy and about his band from England, and I think back to my early days when I got started at a little daytime radio station. We were only on the air, for those not familiar with it, daytime radio. You're only on the air from sunrise to sunset, and I started at doing weekends and engineering. Basically, engineering means I was playing the records for the host of some shows on a little local radio station in Rome, New York, WRNY. And I salute Dave Derby. Somebody's rattling their headphones there, but I salute Dave Derby, who was he was the one that opened the door for me and got me into this crazy business, got me started on what turned out to be a career, and he's now retired, living down in the Carolinas. Dave, if you're listening, I salute you, and I thank you, along with all the others who've opened doors and helped me along throughout the years and years from long ago in a galaxy far away. Thank you. Back to Jimmy and Boardwalk Isabella. Okay, you're looking forward to doing some tours. We are looking forward to having you come over here. Hopefully, maybe we can open a couple of doors and get you a little more going there too. But what are you doing music-wise? Now, I know you've got this new CD coming out. We're going to play The King of Rock in just a couple of minutes. Tell us about The King of Rock. What's the story with that song?
The King of Rock. I don't want John Bon Jovi to fall asleep now, so I'm going to keep this very brief.
Wake up, John.
What? Huh? You woke me up.
Go ahead, Jimmy. I think we got his attention.
Got his attention now. I read Albert Goldman's John Lennon, his fantastic book about John Lennon, and it encouraged me to read another one of his about Elvis. And it took 12 years to write the book. It's incredibly researched, and after I read it, I wrote this song about the King of Rock, and it was. What fascinated me was there was this guy who was probably the most famous person on the planet at one stage. He could have had any woman in the world. He was besieged by female attention, and yet the one woman he wanted, he couldn't have in a way. He crushed her love, and that seemed to me to be a fantastic subject for a song. That irony. And so that sparked off the lyrics for The King of Rock. And so if you listen to the lyrics, they'll give you some idea there. Yeah, so it was inspired by after reading Albert Goldman's Elvis and that kind of story about a love that he held too tight in his hands. It's sort of a butterfly he held too tight in his hand, kept in a gilded cage, and obviously her love went elsewhere. And I thought that was just such a poignant kind of story for
it is.
a songwriter to get hold of.
A wonderful perspective, and one that most people don't think of right off. As you kind of implied, you think of Elvis and you think of the King of Rock. You think about his successes, the fact that he was at the time probably the most famous person in the world. He had all of this excess and wealth at his fingertips, and of course he had the women chasing after him, but you don't often hear people refer to that particular part of his life, the poignancy and the irony. It's a very good perspective, and I'm glad to see that you pursued that. I love to see artists that pursue lyrics that do have a little more meaning than some of the stuff you hear today, and also
Indeed.
that touch upon areas that we don't think about all the time, and this is a very good one. I think it's an excellent concept, and we're going to play that for the folks right now. We're going to thank you, Jimmy, for coming on, joining in the madness that is the David Bowers Award Show, and hey, we love having you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We will look forward to having you back on the show in the very near future. Be sure and keep in touch. Let us know when you have something coming up, and we'll see if we can't work out a way to get you on the show and tell the world about it.
Thanks, guys. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Our best to you and all the guys at Boardwalk Isabella, whether the car exists or not. And ladies and gentlemen, here they are from England, Boardwalk Isabella. It's called The King of Rock. The King of Rock. so much. Boardwalk Isabella from England. Jimmy, a pleasure having you on the show. John Bon Jovial, what you got for us?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, that was a great conversation, and, I meant what I said about the driving music. I mean, what a great beat these guys have got, and if we can get them over to the States, they're going to go a long way. Well, what do I have here? What I've got here, we have this amazing promotion going on for all you indie artists out there that want to get produced, by a big time, and we're not exaggerating one iota. When we say a big-time record producer, we have got the promotion for you, so listen up. Don't forget, the David Bowers Awards is offering the chance for all indie artists to shoot for a free mix of one of their songs by Grammy Award-winning producer Stuart Epps. That's right, you heard me right, Stuart Epps, the man himself. All you got to do is send in an original MP3 track of yours to be entered. You can get complete details by going to our website, which is www.thedavidbowers, BOWERS. That's www.thedavidbowers.com. And if you know an indie artist that deserves the chance to have a track of theirs professionally mixed by a Grammy Award-winning producer, tell them. Don't delay. Let them know, and send it to us now. All they've got to do is put together an MP3 track of one of their original tunes. Get complete details at thedavidbowers.com. We'll be accepting tunes through October the 10th and announcing the winner on our November show. So please don't wait. Do it now. This is something that is, I don't think anybody will ever be able to repeat. Stuart Epps is a good friend of ours, and he wants to help out somebody out there in the indie music world. So do it now, please. David, back to you.
And you're absolutely right about that, John Bon Jovial. After years of working with major artists, I mean, he was with Elton John when Elton John was actually just starting out the ladder. Among the many artists, the list of artists he's worked with is like a who's who in rock music. If you wonder who he is, you're in the wrong business. No, seriously, find out about him. Google Stuart Epps. That's Stuart. Epps, E-P-P-S. Google him. You'll see one of the penultimate producers in the business today, and just having his name on your resume has got to be a plus for your career. So if you're an indie artist, you want to get a mix by a professional producer, here's your chance. Get your tracks into us along with the other information. We'll send them to him, and Mr. Epps will do the selection. And who knows, it could be you being heard around the world by having your song produced by Mr. Stuart Epps.
Hey, this is
right. So,
hey,
not sure what happened there, Dave.
Well, you keep interrupting.
Well, I didn't hit the button. Take 3.
Hey, this is
Well, there's something wrong with the button. That was Michaela, and she wanted to say that she was listening to the show, and I'm not sure what happened, but hey, we'll just blame it on the technician and move right along. Thank you, Michaela. She's got some great music out. She's been a past guest on the show. Will be coming back sometime in the not too far distant future, and has a track out now that is kind of rocking the place. It's taken the place by storm. Check it out. It's a message song, and it rocks. It's called Revolution by Michaela, Mikayla. Check it out. It's all over the internet. You'll have no problem finding it. Just Google Revolution by Michaela. If you like to rock, she's going to rock it for you. Right now, we're going to take the rock with a touch of the blues, maybe even a little swamp blues at that. We're going to bring on and talk with him in just a moment. First, we're going to listen to the title tune from his brand new CD, Going Down to Florida. This is Franc Robert.
Well, I called up my baby and she said to leave me alone. Well, I called up my baby and she said to leave me alone. Yeah, what am I gonna do now that I can't go home? Well, I'm gonna pack my suitcase and catch a southbound train. I'm gonna pack my suitcase and catch a southbound train. coming back here again. Well, I'm going down to Florida. 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 Yeah, I'm going down to Florida. Have ourselves a good time. Yeah, up in Montreal, it's always snow and ice. Well, up in Montreal, it's always snow and ice. Yeah, but down here in Florida, the weather's so nice. Yeah, a girl is a woman and a man ain't nothing but a dog. Well, a girl is a woman and a man ain't nothing but a dog. Yeah, come on, baby, now, don't make me walk this log. Well, I'm going down to Florida. 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 Yeah, I'm going down to Florida. Have myself a good time. Come on, man. Up in Montreal. Yeah, listen to me, brother. Tell you what you're gonna do. Yeah, listen to me, brother. This is what you really should do. Yeah, come down to Florida with me and have a rendezvous. Well, I'm going down to Florida. 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 Well, I'm going down to Florida, have myself a ball. A good time.
Oh, yeah. Going down to Florida, have myself a good time. Every time I hear that, I also think of the other Going Down to Florida song, the old Orange Blossom Special, but this is a far cry from the Orange Blossom Special.
You could
Frank
say that, yeah.
Welcome aboard, Frank. Good to have you back with us again. How's everything going?
Hey. Pretty good. Mighty hot, as you well know.
Yeah, well, we got a little bit out here in Laughlin Bullhead right now. They're talking about 111, 112 today. So the only difference is we don't.
It's a dry heat.
Yes, when they say high humidity out here, they're talking anything over 10%. Like today, I think it's 13%, which is really humid.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but we're here down in the swamp,
Yeah, the swamp's a little bit different. Go ahead.
I want to say a quick hello to Don Majors, who is listening, I believe, if I remember correctly, from up there in the state of Washington, up around Moses Lake, and also Dawn in Mississippi, I think it is, wanted to know, are you touring outside of the state of Florida, Frank?
Yeah, actually, next month I'm doing a solo tour. I'm playing at the Greenwood Blues Cruise in Greenwood, South Carolina, July 10th and 11th. And then I'm heading up the East Coast. Unfortunately, I'm not making it to Mississippi this go-around. I would love to go there again real soon, but it's not going to happen this go-around. But anyways, I'll be in I'll be in Durham, North Carolina on the 12th at a place called the Blue Note Grill. Then I'm playing up in Canada, of all things. Playing a house concert up there. Yeah.
All right, house
get
concerts.
Out.
We talked about those.
Yeah, that's gonna be my first time doing one, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interest in doing that, and for our listeners who are not familiar with it, basically what it is well, you become your own mini promoter. You find a place where you can fit a reasonable sized group of your friends. You contact the artist, like in this case Frank, and you work out a means of payment, how much he would take to play in your living room or wherever, your party room, and you get your friends to chip in the money to pay for it, and you get a private concert. So you just take a big venue, you squeeze it down to just you and a few of your closest friends and the artist, and you've got yourself a house concert. It's a growing thing. We had a couple other artists on here. As a matter of fact, we had one talking specifically about house concerts here just last year, I think it was. So there's a lot of that.
Think of house concerts as being front row seats for everybody at the concert.
There you go. Unless you have a long, narrow living room, in which case that might not hold true. But yeah, it's great. It is really nice. It's a nice, intimate little setting, and for my money, I enjoy it a lot more than the major venues because it's so much more intimate. It's almost like the artist is a friend of yours. Matter of fact, you get to that point, he or she is a friend of yours. There's no way you can't be friends when you're in an intimate setting like that. I love the concept.
No, you can't get around that.
No.
Can't get around that at all.
Go ahead, Frank. Oh, I was just going to say, you and I. I yield the floor to you, Frank. Go
come
for
on,
it,
you guys. Come on, get your act together here.
Yeah, we have like 2 cases of Coke here, so we can keep jinxing each other like this,
Go ahead, finish your thought, Frank.
Yeah, the thought was this: when I started playing back in Montreal and back in the '80s, I was playing at the Rising Sun, and literally the edge of the stage, there was tables right there. I'm so used to people being right there and very close and intimate. To do a house concert, I think it's going to be an absolute hoot for me to do that because here they are right in front of you, watching every last little move you do, and let's just make sure you take a good shower beforehand. But it's going to be it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a real neat experience, and I hope to do more of these in the future.
I can imagine that they be really, really fun. I'm going to have to get me a nice sized living room or party room and have you come play for me one of these days. And we had talked about you doing a combination of a personal vacation and tour out in the Southwest in the not too far distant future, as I recall.
Yeah, I'm still kind of playing around with the idea. This particular East Coast tour is another one of those. I'm combining my vacation with a little bit of work here. So, in this case, I'm going up to see my dad, which is going to be really nice. That's why I'm going all the way to Quebec. That's where he lives. So.
Awesome. No, that's great.
So the out west trip would be to go out and see my son and my brothers. So. That's
absolutely,
what I'd be doing out there.
Anytime you can, they say you can't mix business with pleasure, but anytime you get a chance to put something like that together where you can go see, especially a family member that you don't see every day, and also have a little fun playing the music for the people in that area, it's got to be good. There can't be anything wrong with that.
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. I mean, the old joke about it being a busman's holiday, it kind of is, but it's the way things are in the world nowadays, man. You take it wherever you can. And if it gives you a chance to get out somewhere, go for it, man.
Exactly, and it's not like it's drudgery. It's not like it's something you're forced into doing. It's a case of it's something you love. Hey, I love my family. I love the music I play. What's wrong with bringing the two of them together?
Not a thing at all.
Well, you know,
I
it's
just
like
figure out
back
how
in
to
the
get my
day.
national guitar through TSA.
There you go.
My,
Yeah, well, hey,
my
listen.
big national steel body guitar. Okay, let's X-ray this puppy. What's going on here? What is this
Hey,
thing?
from what I've been seeing on the news lately, you can get almost anything by those guys.
Yeah,
getting a little
yeah,
scary sometimes.
I think they hired some former major league umpires.
Yeah,
they're all blind.
you might have a point there. We'll have to look into that. Now, listen, you've got out on Blue Chihuahua Records this new Going Down to Florida CD, Franc Robert and the Boxcar Tourists. And before we talk more about that, let's talk about the guys that back you up. You're showing a Dave Simmons, a Sam Mudd, and a Joe Sadowski, and, of course,
Yep.
you special thanks to the girls, and we wouldn't forgive you if you didn't remember to thank the girls.
No. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The girls would make sure that I would not sleep well at night. Trust me.
Well, tell us about the people that backed you up on this.
All righty. Well, Dave Simmons, I've been playing with him now for about 13 years, and the old Back Alley Blues Band. We had a couple other bands in between, and when I started the Boxcar Tourists, originally he didn't want to do it, but after about 6 months, the original drummer left and Dave came in, and it was seamless, and it was like, yeah, we're back to being ourselves here. So Dave is like one of my best friends, and we hang out a fair amount, and we just have a great time playing together. It's always fun. And Smoking Joe Sadowski. Got to put that in there. Smoking Joe, I've known him for 20 years. He's been in the band off and on in that whole 20 years. I mean, it's gone on forever. He's a great harp player and a real true character. Yeah, I can't say enough about him.
Most harp players are.
Yeah, and Joe is no different. Trust me on that. He is no different in that regard. Sam actually he just left the band recently, so unfortunately I can't not say anything. Yeah, things happen, He wanted to move on to another project, but Sam played with the great Rock Bottom back in the 80s. If you look up Rock Bottom, he was a harp player based here in Tampa, and he toured all over Europe, and Sam went on a bunch of those tours, so played with him. He played with Lucky Peterson. He's played with Sarasota Slim. He's played with a lot of people over the years. And he was, in the time he was in, he was he was a great guy and everything. Just he wanted to move on to his own little project. So okay, it is what it is. You can't control people.
Yeah, no way, and in a lot of ways you don't want to. I think if I remember correctly, talking with my brother down there in your area. And I know he's been to many of your shows. If I remember correctly, he got to jam with you guys at the, I think it was at the VFW post there, maybe in Port Richey. He got to jam on the harp with you guys on stage one time.
Yeah,
Bill.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
Bill's quite a guy, and he was really proud
Another
of that. I wish I could have been there. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe is it that harp players are characters, or are all characters harp players?
It's kind of like those two circles they draw. What the commonalities are. Those two circles are extremely close together.
Yeah, exactly. No, but Bill's a great guy, and I know he was thrilled to death to be able to get up there and jam with you guys, and I don't blame him. I would have been too, but I don't have talent. That's why I'm on the radio. I learned I couldn't sing, and I said,
your musical talent is playing the record player. So.
Right, there you go. And I thank you guys for creating the records I play. Tell us about the music on this album, Frank.
Okay, this go around, it's actually quite a bit more diverse than the previous records. We mixed in a bunch of different stuff. I happen to be a very big reggae fan. I've loved the old classic style of reggae, and it's crept into my music now and again. And there's a couple tunes that have that kind of flavor to it. There's some stuff that another thing is playing swamp rock. I mean, whatever reason, playing Creedence, playing Tony Joe White, and all those old classic swamp records. I still play Lightning Slim songs. I play Slim Harpo tunes. I love playing that kind of stuff. And it's, that crept into it. So it wasn't just a strictly Delta blues record this go around. It was a lot of different styles mixed in. We played a lot of swing. Going Down the Floor is a big swing tune. And we just said, you know what? We'll just record what we got here and see what we get.
I hear you, and yes, I did notice the diversity on the CD. Thank you very much. It's a great CD. I keep it right here on my desk so I can plug it in the machine anytime. And you mentioned mentioning swamp rock. We had I don't know if you got a chance to hear them or not, but what was it? Was it the last show, John Bon Jovial, or the one before that? One of the recent shows, we had a group that I found in upstate New York who call themselves the Swamp Drivers. And Frank,
that
you
was
might
last
be,
month.
Was it last month? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't catch the show, but I've heard of them. And,
you might want to check them. They are really, really neat because what they did, long story short, because we're starting to run a little bit short of time here, but long story short, one of the guys created an instrument with I don't know if the first one was, I think it might have been the shovel, I'm not sure, but he made an actual playable guitar out of a shovel and gave it to one of the guys in the band as a gift. And the guy used it on stage. It went over so well, they went ahead and created more, and now they have a complete set of instruments. Their drums, I think, are all from Lowe's, garbage cans and stuff from Lowe's. But they have created. You can find them online. They have created legitimate instruments, and they actually play these things and do it well. And they play a lot of basically swamp rock, which is why they call themselves the Swamp Drivers. If you haven't heard of Frank, you should check them out. I think you'll really appreciate it.
I have. I got to check into this deeper though.
Yeah, they're starting to get noticed in a lot of places. I know I've talked to them just since they were on our show. They've picked up a lot of gigs up there in upstate New York, and I have a hunch they might spread out a little bit beyond upstate New York in the not too far distant future.
Yeah.
We're going to play another. Go ahead, floor is yours.
Yeah. Oh no! I was going to say. I mean, with the shovels and everything. I mean, I'm sure they're digging into some deep gigs here now. So.
You got that right. Well said. Okay, we're going to take another track off the album, and we're going to play this one because, Frank, you specifically requested we use this track. Tell us about Devils at the Crossroads.
It's one of those things. This one actually is very. This one's very much more a Delta tune. It started off with me just playing the lick, and all of a sudden, all these lyrics just poured out of me, literally. I mean, this is something that this band does quite a bit. We'll literally write songs on stage. I mean, it's about 5 or 6 songs on the CD that were born on stage. It's like, oh, let's play this. All of a sudden, boom, all these lyrics come out, and all of a sudden the form comes together, and before you know it, you've got a song in under 5 minutes. And Devil at the Crossroads was definitely one of those, and I don't know, maybe it's because I fear this is where I'm going to wind up going after I pass off this mortal coil, But I've had a fascination with a lot of the devil imagery that you see in the blues all the time, about the crossroads and everything, and learning about that, and it's like, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful because otherwise you're going to be invited as the shall we say, the guest of honor at Satan's barbecue?
The guest of honor. Well, Frank, we're going to roll that track right now. I want to thank you so much for coming back on the show. We always enjoy having you, and you always put some heavy stuff on us, some good music, and it's always a pleasure. Give our best to all the guys in the band and to the girls as well, and we'll look forward to having you back in the future. Thank you again, Frank. All right,
Thanks
Frank Rivera, folks. This is from his latest CD, Going Down to Florida. It's called Devils at the Crossroads.
at the crossroads. Lord, he's waiting on you. Devil's at the crossroads. Lord, he's waiting on you. Lucifer is waiting. Now what you gonna do? The devil's always waiting till his deal is done. The devil's always waiting till his deal is done. Once your life is over, Satan will have his fun. At the crossroads, better take your leave. Devil's at the crossroads, better take your leave. Once everyone's soul seems to Adam and Eve. The devil, keep the Lord by your side. Don't you deal with the devil, keep the Lord by your side. Hold your faith strongly, make the devil run and hide. Standing at the crossroads, don't know where to go. Standing at the crossroads, don't know where to go. My advice to you, just tell the devil no.
Devils at the Crossroads, Franc Robert. We're wrapping up for today, folks. The live broadcast ends any second, and those of you listening to the podcast will catch all of our closing comments. We want to thank all of our guests, One Like Sun, Boardwalk Isabella, and Franc Robert, of course. Also, Briana Payne, for whatever happened that obviously was a pain and didn't and interfered with her being able to be on the show today. We will get her back as soon as we possibly can. Be sure and visit our guests on their websites and social media pages. Follow them, comment to them, and be sure and buy their music. In the coming weeks, here on the David Bowers Awards, you're going to meet some other stars. You're going to meet Robin McNamara, the one and only Robin McNamara, the Moss Brothers, whose EP melted Twitter here a couple of weeks ago. Yellow Dog is coming to us direct from the Ukraine, believe it or not. The Cherry Blue Storms will be joining us, and Brantner from Portugal, among others that are scheduled as of right now. So sign up and follow us right here on Blog Talk Radio, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook, too, so that you're sure not to miss anything. Right now, John Bon Jovial, take us home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't forget to order your official The David Bowers Awards T-shirts on our website, thedavidbowers.com. And artists, be sure to send in your EPKs to david@thedavidbowers.com for a chance to appear on this very show. The David Bowers Awards is produced by The David Bowers for Stick It In Your Ear Productions, and we come to you live from the studios of Computer Help USA in Naples, Florida, and Bullhead City, Arizona, and we are available for free download worldwide on Blog Talk Radio, also on iTunes, 365 Internet Radio, CMG Global Radio, BFM, that's BEE-FM, and Renegade Fem Radio. Click the follow link on our Blog Talk Radio page, and be sure to like The David Bowers on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to join us for the David Bowers Awards next Sunday, July 12th. That's Sunday, July the 12th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, when our guests will include the Moss Brothers, representatives of the first all-Native American Broadway musical Distant Thunder, and a return surprise with the Grimps from the children's TV cartoon show, plus all kinds of things that we probably haven't even occurred to think of yet, or it hasn't occurred to us. So be sure to follow the David Bowers Awards online and find out everything first, or maybe even before we do. Until then, for the David Bowers Awards, the David Bowers, Nick the Geek, Hopalong Scarcity, and a few other people that I'll probably forget to mention, this is John Bon Jovial saying, more awards, more of the time from the David Bowers Awards. Peace and love, everybody. We'll see you next month.